Hi there, have you ever found yourself in a situation where the occasion calls for you to get glam, get your makeup, do a full face beat? You want to do that, but however you don't have the time nor the energy. In today's video, I'm going to show you a look that I usually do when I'm in such a situation. So if you're interested, let's go. I'm using brow gel to set my brows in place. I work the product liberally into my brows before brushing the hairs up and smoothing down into shape with either my fingers or the handle of a spoolie brush. The white residue that you see is due to the sunscreen that I use. While the gel dries down, I prep my face using a mattifying primer on my T-zone area as well as any other areas with visible pores. You'll notice I'm using light tapping motions, not rubbing, so it doesn't disturb the skincare product underneath. I finish up the skin prep with a hydrating mist. I like this one from Mr. Price because it leaves a sticky residue once it dries down. Now that the gel has set, I can continue with my brows. I start by cleaning up underneath my brows first with a concealer. Cleaning up before filling the brows gives me a guide on how to fill in the brows. To clean up, I like to use a matte full coverage concealer with a curved flat brush. I prefer using a liquid brow pen to fill in my brows. This one is a 2-in-1 pen and brow pencil from glam in the shade Chocolate. I like using a pen because it's easier to create fine hair-like strokes. All I'm doing is filling in the sparse areas and creating a higher arch on one side because naturally my brows are cousins. They're not even sisters. And I've made peace. After this, I will brush out my brows to distribute the product through. If I do need to make any extra touch-ups, I also do that. And also note that brows take time to perfect over time, and with practice, you will be able to do your brows in your sleep. At the end, you'll notice that using no extra product, I will take that same flat brush to carve out the top tail of each brow. I'll either use my fingers or a dry sponge to blend out the concealer. For under eyes, I start off with a skin tone shade of concealer. I always try not to use too much product from the start, so I gradually add more product in small layers if I need to. While I'm waiting for this concealer to dry down, the under eye concealer that is, I will apply foundation. Now I'm using a foundation stick. I'm using a skin tone foundation stick around my face and a lighter foundation stick in the center of my face to highlight. And usually what I do is I blend out what is left under my eyes. Before I blend out the foundation, I make sure to spray setting spray onto the brush. This makes it easier to blend out the product. Notice that I'm using light tapping and light swiping motions to blend out the foundation. To blend out the under eye concealer, I prefer to use a dry powder puff. Now I thought this was one of those doing too much hacks from TikTok, but this one works. I swear the seamless blend and the coverage that you get is game changing for me. As always, make sure to look up when you get closer to the eye area. To set under my eyes, I use a skin tone loose powder using a brush. And don't forget to blend out any areas before applying the powder, as you can see I am doing. After I'm done with both eyes, I use whatever is left to set the center of my face. To prevent creasing around my laugh lines, I use the same powder to bake my laugh lines. I use a lighter banana or yellow shade powder to bake under my eyes and down the bridge of my nose. While the under eyes and the smile lines are baking, I set the rest of my face using that same skin tone loose powder. I'm using Huda Beauty Easy Bake in the shade Cinnamon Bun, and that lighter powder was Easy Bake Huda Beauty, but that one was in the shade Kunafa. Notice that I use light sweeping circular motions with the brush. For the eyes, I will be doing a black smoky wing using 3 colors from the LD Beauty Bull eyeshadow palette. I will be using my finger for the black shadow and then a tapered fluffy brush for the dark brown color in my crease, and then finally a flat brush for the light brown color all over my lid. I will also be using a clean concealer brush to blend the colors together.